Hello, everybody. We are back. It is a long run live stream and or podcast, whatever you fancy. And we are back with the chat all about the running. We're brought to you courtesy of the Fordy Runs running community. I'm Ian Wilkerson. I'm here as every Friday night at 7 o'clock. To have a chat about all sorts of things running with the founder of Fordy Runs Running Community,
Evening.
Chris Ford.
I'm just.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just putting in the comments to make sure to add your questions.
Yeah,
I'll forget to do it.
Yeah, because the last thing you want to do is just to listen to us belly aching on and making it up as we go along, because that is not the prerequisite to a successful early Friday evening. So, we'd love your contribution. So please send us your questions, and we'd love to talk about all sorts of stuff.
Actually, I've got
How are you, mate?
Cast. I've got a question. I'm going to dive straight in. Question of the cast, because, Ian, I don't know if you've seen the video I put out today. I've had, I don't know how many comments on it about the worst shoes. So if you want to, stick in the comments, whether it be Facebook live stream or even on the podcast, you can email in and Tobe will put up. What's the email address? Tobe put it up on the thing. I can't remember what it is. But yeah, email in your worst shoes. I'd be very interested in it. Oh yeah. The longrunshow@gmail.com. Longrunshow@gmail.com. Emailing is in as well about your worst running shoes. Now that doesn't necessarily mean like the pig thing that you bought. I don't know whether it be New Balance 1080s that you never worn, but it's even sometimes a pair of shoes maybe that you just can't find where you bought them for. I'm going to get them. They look mustard. And I made the point today in today's video. I bought the Next Percent 2, which ain't cheap, but I've struggled to wear them in races and stuff like that. So that's my point. So I'd be interested to know on one of the things today, because I know, Ian, we wanted to talk about London Marathon and fueling and all that kind of stuff as well, didn't we?
It is so much to talk about, mate. Yeah, so we'd love your trainer feedback, all sorts of stuff, good and bad. Please let you know. Just to introduce the rest of the boys, producer Toby is here, and Alan's got his sound and vision working this week.
I hope so.
It's lovely to have him back.
Big house in the house.
Question mark. So he's going to be, hopefully he'll be keeping an eye out on what's coming through, and any inquiries, put a queue in front of your post, and that'll help the old boy out, because he could do with a little bit of help.
Yeah.
So, but it's lovely to have you back, mate, because we were a bit concerned about you and your communication issues last week. But
we
lovely to see you.
All sorted.
Oh,
definitely.
It's good to hear, isn't it?
Having here, isn't it?
Zuckerberg's been spoken to quite sternly.
Oh,
yeah, and then the week before he was watching Tom Jones at Newmarket races, so we have to question his commitment to this new
I'm back
media project.
He's here to stay
with a vengeance.
Yeah, well, I'd like to think he's had a written warning.
Yeah, yellow card.
Actually,
yellow card.
Yellow. Yeah, we've sent a strongly worded email to HR, and hopefully he's going to buck his ideas up, so we'll be with us there. Anyway, I'm sure he could produce a brilliant question master performance today.
People on the podcast can't see it, but I'm showing off my yellow London Landmarks half marathon. They know Half makes some good t-shirts, the London Landmarks half marathon people. And the reason I'm showing it is because it's got yellow on it for Yellow Calf Allen. But yeah, don't they make a good t-shirt?
Yeah, big though, wasn't it? Mine was huge.
Yeah, I was it. Mine was perfect. Let me know in the comments. Best race t-shirt, please. Be very interested.
Yeah.
I think Landmarks one he's up there with one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, there may be some people who are fed up with listening to people on the group talking about London Landmarks, but we're not one of them, and we don't care, because we're just going to keep banging on about it, because we had such a brilliant day on Sunday.
I love this from Keith Isaacs, the runner's answer to loose women. Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? It's basically 4 old blokes, except for Toby, who's 10 years younger than me, but I won't mention that on any video when I'm blowing out my backside in these 10 years. But we are basically loose women of the running podcast.
Yeah.
But
I think that's a great parallel.
I'll
I'm
take
quite
that as a
happy.
compliment.
I'll take it. Yeah,
All day
good
long.
show. It's brilliant. Yeah, so we make no apologies of banging on about the London landmarks last week. It was absolutely brilliant, particularly because Chris was winning it at one point.
Yes, yes. If you've not seen the video, I was winning the London landmarks, and somebody said it was for at least 3 seconds. And now I'm sure that it might be more than that, but I was definitely winning it for a good few seconds. I was in the front, leading the London landmarks half marathon for at least 3 seconds, and that's probably my finest running moment, I think, to date.
Talk us through it, mate. Talk about how, firstly, you got into that situation to be at the front of such a massive event, and how you took the opportunity and made a name for yourself by leading the pack.
It was the best thing was all these people who are messaging me saying, "Fordy, you was on the news." No, in all seriousness, because I've got absolutely, as always, there was a couple of people who rinsed me for being in that starting pen. Egotistical maniac, I was called, and all these lovely things that people love to, be so nice and kind to me. But
and they don't even know you.
Yeah, it was nothing to do with the Fordy Runs community. It was nothing to do with the fact that we had volunteers there and all that kind of stuff. The guys at London Landmarks, who are absolutely superb, they invited me to be there. They know that I filmed the event, and they invited me to be part of that. And it's the same principle they ask. Like I was there with the guy, the Wade twins from Instagram, TikTok, and that kind of stuff. It's along those sort of lines. I appreciate the offer, but I'm, as always, happy. Like I said to you last week, happy to be anywhere. I was just lucky enough to be there. But it came about in terms of being on the start line is the fact that they started calling the elites through, and I looked round. You'll see it. I looked round in the video. I went, well, no one's saying to us, let's go back. So I said, come on, lads, let's get up the front. Let's have some of this. As always, taking advantage. And so I said, come on, let's start this race. What? No one was telling us we couldn't. So you could see that the elite runners behind were like chomping at the bit, ready to go. And we was all standing there mucking about. And then we went off. And then after I led the race for 3 seconds and the Wade brothers just left me for dust, they ran a 1:20 or whatever after they'd had their shirts off doing Instagramming down Pall Mall. But they legged it because they're absolute machines. I got out of the way and let all the elite runners go. And it was just even down over the first bridge, people who done the event.
Waterloo Bridge.
Yeah, Waterloo Bridge. I went on the central reservation because that's the sort of, I'm not being funny, but people have a go at me, but I moved out of their way because I didn't want to ruin anybody's race. I think that's the least I could do. I got out of the Pacers way, the 1:30 guy, and all that. So I was running along the central reservation, which I think was a decent thing to do.
You've got to be rapid to pace 1:30 for half marathon, haven't you?
Bloody so that's how it all came about. It was lovely. I think the biggest thing for me, I found out today, the event raised over £5 million for charity, for the various charities, not just Thomas. I think that's incredible. People, forget that in terms of London Landmarks event. It raised over £5 million. So, it's a first step on for the charities that got absolutely destroyed. We've got the Great North Run coming up, which is great news. Huge amount of money will be raised for charity with that event going ahead. I know it's slightly different in terms of the format of it this year, but again, the charities are going to, really benefit from that. So that's great news. Royal Parks, all those sort of events now, especially obviously then leading into the London Marathon. It looks like, fingers crossed, that the old charities.
I thought, being in the pack, that it was like it was back. It was like we've done, over the last sort of 5 or 6 months, and people have, been managing the situation. They've been quite regulated. This was like events used to be. Or maybe if you, I could understand why people would think who hadn't done any events for the last 18 months thought, oh, this is a bit different. But it just seemed like such a massive step forward.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, again, I was super lucky. I was at the front, so I didn't see what was going on in terms of all the waves and how all that worked. I've done all that before at the London Landmarks, but when we got like escorted across into the pen, you could see everybody and all that sort of stuff, and it did. It just felt like a normal, if that's even a word now, but a normal racing event, and there was no. It didn't feel like everybody was being kept apart. And yeah, it was just fantastic. It really was. They've done a great job. It's funny. When I got back to the thing where to pick my bags up, the ladies from London Landmarks were asking what the support was like out on the course. And it was noticeable at the start. It was epic. It was really nice. And thanks everybody, by the way, who said hello to me and stuff like that when I was sort of waiting about, because I didn't basically know anybody in that pen. And I was chatting to people. So thank you to all those people who did say hello. But yeah, it was noticeable, the support there. But when you did get out into the city, I mean, that event, I said it on the vlog, is usually rocking in terms of people and vibe, and very much along the Great North Run lines. Not, it's slowly becoming similar, I would say, in terms of vibe. But it was noticeable in the city, and in a good way, the sort of lack of people who come out, which I think was one of the things I took away from it. I know the course was winding and we was back and forth all over the place. So it's probably hard to find.
But from a spectator's point of view, that makes it a really good event, because you can see people. You can literally cross the road and you'll see somebody coming back 20 minutes later or something. You're not, going all over the place and jumping on the train to get them, see them again down the line. And it's really good for that.
It's really good for that. But it was noticeable that the less amount of, I don't know the right way to say it, but the less amount of spectators, which again, I don't have a problem with. I think it was, the right thing to do in terms of safety and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I again, take my hat off to the organisers. They've done a fab job. I think it was really well organised. Everybody enjoyed it. It was incredible coming down into, the finish line, turning that corner and seeing all the people there. It was an epic finish. And then for us, obviously, as Fordy runs coming through the line, and I saw the team, it was incredible. It really was. It was just amazing to see all the guys there when we finished. Yeah, I mean, it was just it was an epic day. I had the best time for a long time at a race. I didn't really care what time I was running. I didn't really care the fact that I wasn't running with anybody. I mean, I had a nice chat with Paul, the pacer. The guy who does all the pacing. He was on 1:45. I ran for him for a bit. I had a chat with him. I had a chat with a couple of other people, but usually I run, along with somebody. Like obviously Billy's injured at the moment, but I usually run with somebody. But yeah, even though I wasn't running with anyone, I had a great time. I was chatting to all the ladies who were singing and all that. It was great. I loved it. I had a great time. Great time.
Yeah, I see. Chris Cramping said that he led the Great North Run for 2 seconds.
Well done,
so
Chris.
I reckon you two should get together, have a beer, and
Chris, I reckon we should have
talk about your great experience.
A 2-second race. I reckon that could be a new event.
Yeah, there'll be a few people up for that.
What about Al? What did you think of volunteering when you was there? What was it like?
Yeah, so I've run the race before back in 2018, so I know what it's like to run it as a competitor. It was actually my very first ever race. That kind of set the benchmark pretty high, to be honest, in terms of atmosphere and everything else. So short of being able to run it, volunteering is just epic. And to be in a group of Fordies, I think there was 20 of us at the finish line, and we were on the shirts, medals, and T-shirts part of it. And because we were kind of the large and extra large, we got to see everyone literally as they came over the line, and it was just great, because I think I must have seen every Fordy that was out on the course during the course of our 3-hour stint. So the atmosphere was good. It was slightly disappointing that we couldn't physically hand out medals, but I did manage to get my selfie with the actual winner, not the person that was leading the race.
Him and his mate. He loves this geezer. He absolutely right. We went to Chingford, right? So we done a run around Chingford, and all he's going is, Nick might be around here. Nick might be around here. Oh, he runs around, and then at Dorney, right? Nick's running this today. I wonder if Nick's here. I wonder if Nick will see me. All I had for like half hour,
He
and then
went
Nick ran
past us.
past and didn't
He
even
went
look at
past
Alan.
us.
He was going and like that, and then
blew you out.
it just.
I did admit I am one of his Strava stalkers, so I was quite pleased when he gave me the honour
Strava
of
stalker, because
letting
I
me
just think the stalker. It's Nick from the
I've-
run testers. Al, right? Al will totally disputes anything I say about the equipment because he swears by what Nick says from the run testers.
It's just getting a third opinion. I like to triangulate things, make sure kind of get the best of all views. Can't just rely on one
quality.
opinion.
But Al,
And one
actually,
thing-
The subject,
sorry.
my London Landmark shirt is too big as well. Comes down virtually to my knees.
Ian, I've got a really
So,
good point here. I've just remembered. Guess who's doing their 50th park run tomorrow?
Yeah.
The big fella. Who's going
Yeah.
to Chelmsford? Put us in the comments if you're going to Chelmsford park run tomorrow.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah.
Milestone, Pete. Who else is getting a milestone? Let us know.
He's got
Email in.
cake.
Anybody who's got a big milestone, email us in and we chat about it. But
There is
yeah,
cake.
There's talk of cake.
brownies and flapjacks, I've been led to believe, are making their way to Chelmsford as we speak.
that's incredible.
And
what are you gonna
Chris
go for
Crampton
next?
just said, Chris Crampton just said, what was the best fancy dress you saw at London Landmarks? So I've got to give a big mention to Petra Warner going out in
100%,
the dog
100%.
suit. I did the first 2 miles with her because we were in the same wave 5, and it was love. It was really good to sort of like get a nice little easy into the race. And the kids just loved the suit. Every kid's it's a dog. And she was absolutely brilliant. There were other people out there who took their hats off.
Yeah,
It was
I was gonna say.
hot. And she didn't. She kept it
Yeah,
all the way. She was absolutely brilliant. Did it with her usual good humour. Absolutely brilliant. If I had a hat on, I'd take it off to her. Absolutely brilliant it was.
I totally agree with you, Ian. We had a guy who started with us in the pen, bless him. He took it was warm. He took his hat thing off. He was in the guide dog's outfit and he looked shot to pieces. I mean, he was going for it. But yeah, I take an unbelievable effort from Petra. And I ran with her on Tuesday at club and she just said she got so fed up that she started sprinting towards the end.
Yeah, Claire was with her. Yeah, Claire took over because Claire was in the wave behind, and just as we were going up the strand and we went round the corner, she was like, "Get the stop." So Petra said, "Oh, you just go." So then she caught up with her, and then Claire was moaning that they got to within sight of Big Ben, and Petra put her foot down because she was fed up with.
Non-related question, right? Can somebody tell me when they're taking all that rubbish off of Big Ben? Because it seems to have been on there. One of the best bits about the London Marathon, right? And we're going to come on to London Marathon a bit later. But one of the best bits about London Marathon is that you come along embankment and you can see Big Ben because you think, Christ, I've only got like a kilometre to go, whatever it is, right? And you see it visually. But for the last couple of years, he's had all that soppy stuff chucked all over it. Can anyone tell us when that's going to be taken off? Because if you're running London, it is a real big help when you can see Big Ben, because basically you turn right, you go down, then you start seeing the 800 and the 400 meter marks, and then you turn obviously down to.
Is it one of these things though that when you're going down the embankment, because of course we saw each other on the embankment, didn't we?
Classic, that one.
Yeah, I mean, we had about a 3 minute, about 300-yard gap where we could have seen each other, and we did, which was pretty amazing. But when you're going along the embankment and you're looking at Big Ben, is it one of these things that never, you never seem to get to?
Yeah, no, you do. It's something to focus on. You do get. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It seems to be miles away. But no, it really, you do feel like you are getting there. If you can focus on getting there to Big Ben, it's a really, really big help, because honestly, you turn that corner and you're basically home and host. So, yeah, incredible.
I sometimes find if I'm in South London, I sometimes find on my training runs that I'm going past Canary Wharf and I'm going round the Isle of Dogs. If you're thinking of the EastEnders map, the bit that's sort of the U shape, and like you're doing miles and miles, and Canary Wharf is just still on your right, and you just never seem to be going past it. So I'm just wondering if you ever get to Big Ben, but it sounds like you do.
Yeah. No, I tell you what, we've got millions of questions tonight. Thanks ever so much, everybody. Already, we've been whittling on for 19 minutes. And we've had about 1 million questions. So thanks everyone. Let's bat some questions out. Actually, I know we're a little bit off topic, but
come on, Al.
Come on, Al. What we got?
I'm going to start by bringing Ray, the happy jogger, our resident Southern California Fordy, into
Hi,
the
Ray.
Fordy.
How you doing, mate? You all
Ask
right?
his question. Chris, you're not going to like this, but he's a big thumbs down for Skechers Max Road version 4. They just didn't work for him. I know you're a big Skechers fan, so you might want to take that
he's
one
got
offline
he's got
and sort that one out.
Skechers 5.
Yeah, no, I've seen your review for 5, so I've got my email waiting for the stock to come back in. But his question is about marathon training, and he wants to know your views about where speed works. Should it feature, or is it all about the mileage?
Oh
Where do
no,
you stand
100%.
on that?
You've got to really concentrate on that speed work at least once, if not twice a week. Try and get your high efforts in. Try and give my guys at least one high effort session, which is effectively some form of speed session. That's a good 30 to 45 minutes. That's excluding your warm up and cool down. It really is critical to get that in. Gets also some moderate work done at goal pace. Even some of those tempo runs early on, get some of that work done at threshold pace, and it will just build up that stamina. Honestly, everybody runs those sort of. We was working on it the other week, weren't we? Those higher efforts too slow. You really need to be like going at it hard to really get into the anaerobic system and start really building that stamina and strength. 100% focus
And
on that
also, Ray,
speed.
it's going to help. It breaks the monotony. It's something different. It's going to help you mentally if you're doing some sort of different exercise. You don't have to do it all the time. One a week would probably be enough, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, build mileage is important. Like I was on a call today, one of my runners telling her now the next 4 weeks she's doing London. It really is important to maybe switch focus from that really high effort speed work and switch it into the longer runs and making, because you're going to be turning longer runs into not just easy pace. You're going to be putting goal pace through there, and so the effort level is going to increase. So it's really important now for the next 4 weeks in terms of what you're going to gain from a lot of high effort sessions is marginal, because you should have done all that work in the previous 8 weeks. But it really is important to do the two. They dovetail so well. Running those hard sessions, but really, really go at them. Don't you feel in your body, I can't do it, but you can, and you're not really. There is another level. You can say, because I've done this to you on a Tuesday. There is another level in which you can go to, and you really need to tap into
if you've watched the Olympics over the last few days and you just look at the people at the end of their races and they cannot do anything, they're flat on their back. They've put a lot in. Obviously, we're not running for Olympic gold medals, but it just shows there's a limit there to what you can do, and
That's what I'm saying.
I never do that. But
get out of that aerobic state. Start lactic, and just start nailing it. Just really crack on. Really start working hard, and you'll get the benefits. But it has to be over a 6 to 8 week period to really start reaping the rewards. But don't neglect the long runs, because they're critical in terms of building mileage. You do need to do that on top of everything. But yeah, get uncomfortable. That's the thing to do. Right.
What else we got, Al?
Yeah, so big apologies to Ray. If he was hoping the answer would be no to speed work, I think you've got the message.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
So we've talked a little bit about the t-shirts. So we've got a similar question coming from Adam Watts, in terms of what's your favourite race medal? And again, I know London Landmarks always try and do something a bit wacky, don't they, with their medals, like they've done over the last three. So
I've got the Landmark ones over. You can't see them; they're off camera. All my medals are hanging up over there. My favourite medal is my 40th London Marathon one. That's actually in a frame. The 40th race. I think that was an epic race. We did that virtually and that lot. Yeah, I love that one. Billy came down, Matt came down, the captain was there. It wasn't necessarily the time or whatever. Toad was there, Russ was there. It was just the whole thing of doing it. We'd been through COVID and all that kind of stuff. So that's the one that means probably the most to me.
Yeah, mine would be my first Great North Run, I think, because it's such a big, iconic event. Being somebody who's wanted to do a half marathon, if you're a half marathon, I just think it's an event that you've got to do. You've just got to tick it off, and you've got to have it on your CV. So mine would be That one, first one. I'm looking forward to getting my second one in about 6 weeks, or however long
What
it
about
is.
you, Al?
Probably less.
I suppose for sentimental reasons, it's always probably going to be your first marathon. And I was quite lucky enough to do Berlin, and it's got a picture of Kipchoge on it. So that one's quite special.
Has he got one of a picture of you on it?
We were in the same race, so there's a good chance. But in terms of the wackiest medal, I did a virtual run around the M25. So the medal is shaped like the M25, and it is literally as big as your head. So that takes pride of place as well.
With a huge tailback.
Yeah, it takes 7 hours to kind of get the medal off the shelf because of the cars in front of you. But it's an.
What about you, Tobe?
I reckon mine was Dorney in April. What do you reckon?
Was that a Portaloo, Tobe?
It's got a Portaloo on it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Has it got a Portaloo? It's just a.
No, I reckon. As I say, the 40th, London 40th. I know you've already said that, but that was actually my first ever marathon as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot that, Tobe. That was Tobe's first, and he destroyed it. I mean, he didn't even need the Portaloo, but he literally he destroyed that, right? And I think actually, Tobe, I think it's worth putting out there for all the viewers that I came in ahead of you on that race. Ooh la la!
Oh yeah, you only excuse your last game, don't you?
He's going to destroy me. He's Dorney. I'm just telling you
every
now.
marathon so far. Let's be honest.
He's going to destroy. Oh, but viewers, Toby's got a new challenge. We can't tell you what it is, but there is a new challenge coming for Toby. Yeah, I know. It is coming. We're going to film it probably next week or the week after. We're going to go and film Challenge Toby. So just a heads up. So get involved.
Yeah, don't miss that then, folks. What's next, Al?
Yeah,
I'm liking this viewer interaction, Lark.
Yeah, there's loads tonight. Oh,
yeah. So Brett, apologies, Brett, if I've spelt or if I've pronounced your surname wrong, but Brett Gloin wants to know, he's running his first marathon, and how does he settle on his pace for that first marathon? If you've got no previous, how do you know how far, how fast?
I know my first marathon pace. What are you running your easy runs at? What when you're going out doing your long runs, where you running them? What's the sort of pace range that you're running those in? Because it probably should be a little bit slower than that, I would say. And I've got to be honest with you, and this might sound a bit funny, but your first marathon, I would just go and complete it and have a good time. Which one are you running, Brett? Can you let us know which one you're taking part in?
I'm in a similar situation to Brett because I'm doing my first one in Yorkshire in October, and we were doing easy runs on Tuesday, weren't we? And I was looking at sort of like 640 kilometers, and my half marathon pace is probably about 5.5 minutes. So I was, am I right in thinking sort of like in the middle of that, about 6, just over? What do you reckon?
Yeah, hang on. I'm just reading what Brett wrote. He's doing Chelmsford. Brett, have you seen my video on Chelmsford? Brett, I would recommend you watch my video on the Chelmsford Marathon because I did that. It's quite undulating, I would say. So it's a little bit of a test on the way back in once you made the turn and start heading back for Chelmsford. Half is 1:33, 8-minute miles. Ty, what's that in my world? He's got no idea. He's absolutely useless. He's useless. So 3-hour marathon. I reckon you've got to be looking for probably more like 8.5-minute miles personally, and just go steady, especially when you start off. But I would probably go more towards 8.5 if you're looking at a half of 1:33. That's probably where I'd start you at. What did you say, Ian? Sorry, I missed what you said because I was reading.
I was saying that I've been doing sort of like easy runs at about 640 kilometers, and my half marathon pace is.
You're quicker than that.
Yeah, well, my half marathon's about 5:40.
Yeah, so 9:09. So that's you've got to be looking. Yeah, I would. If it was me, have you got a goal in time in terms of finishing time?
Not really.
Then why don't you try and run like 6:10?
Yeah.
Just to start with, just the whole
6:56. If I did 4:20, that'd be great.
Well, yeah, a 6:13 would get you a 4-hour 13 marathon. So yeah, just start off at like 6:10.
Oh yeah, that'd be right then. Yeah, great.
Just suck it up, take it easy, and then get to halfway. See how you feel. Ideally, what you try and do is you get to halfway, feel like a bit of a hero, and then you start stepping on it. that's the way I run a marathon. I either go equal pace, dead aim, right? Or I'll try and I'll do the second half quicker. But I always like psychologically to get, and it doesn't matter what race is, marathon, half, whatever. I always look to get halfway. So Brett's looking for 3:45. So Toad, what pace is that? Well, because we're doing that.
Well, was that what we argued about the other day?
Yeah, what did we come up with?
Just shy of 8:35-minute miles.
Oh, yeah, so I was on the money. I said 8.5. Yeah. I tell you what, it's almost like I know what I'm talking about. You would actually think I would know what I'm talking about, wouldn't you? So, yeah, 8:30, 8:35, Brett, give that a go. But, yeah, Ian, for you, I would start off steady, 6:10, 6:20. Don't blow your load at the start. Go steady, get to halfway, and then nail it.
I was comfortable doing 9-minute miles on Sunday, so...
Yeah. I mean, you're well within that, but it's your first one. My advice to anybody doing.
Oh, I'm just going to go and have a good time. Yeah, I ain't bothered.
Yeah, it's just tick the box, get it done, because you'll learn so much from that. You'll probably get a bit of fueling wrong. You'll probably, get something wrong somewhere along the lines, and that's the point. I'm still getting a lot of stuff wrong. And I love learn. That's why I love marathon training, because I'm learning all the time. But yeah, doing the marathons itself, you learn so much. And even now, I'm not. I've said it. I think in some of the videos I've done, it's my worst distance in terms of knowledge, experience, and everything. I haven't got a clue sometimes, and I'm always trying to do better. Not necessarily on the time, because my times, I'm trying just to drop a little bit at a time. I'm not trying to do a Petra and take like 25 minutes off of it.
Yeah.
I'm looking just to come down a little bit, but it's the stuff you learn, like where you are. Like I was just talking about, getting to halfway and then like gunning it, or really trying to equal pace it. That sort of stuff. I think it's so inevitable. So your first one, I would literally just, make sure you don't start too fast and just get the thing done, really.
So, Al, have we got any others?
Yeah, we've got some more. They're flowing in thick and fast.
We're going to smash out a lot of questions tonight, then, folks.
I think we're going to be talking questions tonight. It's good.
So Toby, you might listen to this one, because I know you and Chris are kind of targeting triathlon. So we got a viewer wants to know. No, it's not, yeah. There's another question in there about swimming, but we'll come on to that another time. This viewer wants to know about how to structure their runs between their triathlon training, which I guess is over a shorter distance, versus balancing that with nailing a decent marathon time. So I guess the question is about how to kind of get the balance right between the different types of training needed for those different events.
I would, I've got, the only experience I've got of this is only where I did Blenheim, but I did it as a where you do the bit each, right? So I've got no clue. But what I did do as part of that, because at the time I was thinking I really want to step up to a triathlon, I was doing work in the pool this was back when the pools were open, right? And I am a rubbish swimmer, like on another level rubbish swimmer. And everybody knows my hatred for cycling by now. I'd much rather jump out of a plane. But what it did do, actually, it complemented my marathon training. So I was dropping one of my runs in the week to do my, let's call it, triathlon training. And I was getting that in, and I was using it as part of my marathon training to strengthen my core, to do my cross training. So the biking and the swimming, I was alternating. Now, again, that's not much use, because Olympic distance triathlon, I've got no clue. Stu Edwards is the best person to talk about this, and he won't be watching, but Stu Edwards is the best person to talk about it. But all I would say from my experience, which is limited, is the fact that I actually found training for, well, I wasn't really training for a triathlon, but I took it upon myself to train for one, it really benefited me in terms of cross training and everything else that I did. But I tell you what, that's hard. That triathlon stuff's hard, especially if you're like Toby and can't swim. But we've signed him up anyway, so don't worry. That's not the new challenge, Toby. By the way, the new challenge, Toby, is another
Yeah,
one.
it gets worse than that.
The other challenge, Toby, is the fact that next year he's doing a triathlon, and he said next year he's doing it because he wouldn't do it this year. I said that he should do it this year, but he wimped out because he reckons it's going to take him too long to swim. Let me know in the comments how long does it take to swim, because I was going to throw him in the river the other day and see if he could swim. Because if he could swim, I bet if I threw him in the river, I bet he could swim. So all this I can't swim business, it's going to take me a year, I think it's just nonsense. So let me know in the comments, how long does it take to learn to swim, please? Very interested. I don't think I answered that question, by the way.
Outdoors, open water.
No, don't complicate it. You're doing it. Right, next question. Come on, lads.
Yeah,
we've got,
I'm
we've got so
reluctant
many.
to ask this one because it could just blow the podcast out of the water, but I'm going to go for it anyway.
Oh, no.
Rachel wants to know, out of us four, who is the fastest? I said it was controversial.
It ain't me.
Toby. He's a
Toby.
machine.
You've given
Toby,
that up far
100%.
too easy, Chris.
He just goes.
Huh? He just goes. He just leaves. And the thing is, he doesn't care either. He turns around, smiles at you, then leaves you. All right.
Yeah.
Some of the time he's heading to the Portaloo because he's got a bit of trouble. But you look at his times. We rocked up at what was it the other day? What's the name? Gunpowder Park Run. We was filming something. A video come out in a couple of weeks on Park Run. So I bowled up, man. As we're going to the start, I said, "So you got to have a go at this." And he went, "Oh, I'm not really feeling it. I was out last night," and all the excuses. And then goes and runs a 20:05. Like, just think about it. I mean, I know
What happened to the 05, Tobe?
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
start him off.
he just done a 20:05, and he wasn't like laying out dead on the floor. He came and then ran with me, right, to finish, because to say we were filming. So he circled round and then ran the last bit with me and filmed it. So again, he wasn't really trying that hard, and he did a 20:05. So Toby,
Yeah, people
100%.
regularly get lost on a Tuesday because Tobe's too quick and he just puts his foot down.
Leaves everybody.
He's away.
I mean, he's the worst run leader the England Athletics have, because he don't lead anyone. He just goes and runs his own thing.
Well, he leads off, just runs.
He just goes. So if you're Toby's definitely the fastest, I think. And I don't want his head to get any bigger. Now he's having to sign autographs when he goes to races and stuff. But if he actually knuckled down and stopped running with me, he would be a lot faster, because like everyone, he's got a busy life, busy work and all that sort of stuff. But if he really, really drilled it in, he would be a proper rapid over the medium to longer distance, I think. And that's not to blow smoke up his backside, because tomorrow I'm going to hammer him either out. But
I've got to stop eating your diet as well. If I stop
stop
eating your diet.
burgers.
But yeah, so Toby, 100%.
Yeah, no contest.
Yeah, and in our defence, I think all we need to say is the three initials GFA, don't we? Good for age.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you've got to remember,
There's so many ways. There's so many ways
That's a
now.
chance.
Who was it who was calling us
Old
loose
enough to
women
be
earlier?
your dad, Toby. You've got to give me some credit.
Yeah. We're like old people compared to Toby. I mean, look, Alan is 72. You've got to remember, Alan is 72.
Good for
right?
age.
And he's going to get good for age. So Toby, I think, needs to be a bit more respectful towards Alan, I think.
Yeah. Should we move on?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we've got a question coming from Big Fletch. I know he's a busy bee at the moment. He's just run London Landmarks. He's got the big half coming up. I think he wants some advice on where he should be pitching his runs between the two. What kind of distance should he be
big half in 3
churning
weeks?
over in the coming weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks, you're not going to make that much difference in terms of gains. It's more about cementing the work that you've done. I know you raced hard on Sunday. Thanks for your email. Basically, I mean, it was a lovely email that he sent us, but Fletch ran hard on Sunday, got a good time. I know he's looking for sub 2. We're going to have a go at it. But yeah, I would shake out the rust, and then I would really just focus on the consistency over the next couple of weeks, actually, just making sure you are getting, 1 or 2 runs in of reasonable length, but more about the effort level, I would say, more the distance. It's all about the effort level, because you're not going to lose any fitness or whatever. You can complete the half distance. So I would just focus on the consistency and making sure your effort levels are of a reasonable amount. But at the same time, you are banking some of those easy miles.
sure that'll do him in good stead. So moving on, we've got an anonymous Facebook user. Don't
Oh,
forget
Toby, you've got to put that thing in so the Facebook
so we can
users
see
know
who
how
you
to
are.
do it.
But they may want to stay anonymous because they're complaining they're always hungry. They're training
Oh,
for
this
a
is me.
marathon. They're always hungry. So what advice have you got about fueling properly, and in particular, timing of some of that fueling before some of the long
And
runs?
actually, that's interesting because we've got an email from Charlotte who we'll go through if we get time. I know we're batting.
Yeah, bring it out now, mate.
In terms of, hang on, let me just read the question back. I'm training for London and I'm hungry all the time. Yeah, that's because you're obviously burning a lot of calories and your body's craving it. I'm hungry all the time. You got any tips for fueling properly? Yeah, just, you don't need as much as you think you do. You gotta train your body, train your mind. It's craving stuff that it doesn't necessarily need. You only need to put in what it actually needs. Make sure that it's balanced. It's going to be, craving in particularly sugar and stuff like that. And that's where you've got to watch it. It's all about having balanced diet. It's all about getting the right stuff, proteins and things like that in terms of helping your muscles repair. I'm not a nutritionist, right? Alan probably knows more about this than me. But it's really important. You do get super hungry when you're marathon training. I know people who put on weight basically because they're overeating, because their body, the metabolism is what it is. So you got to be careful. I would just snack little and often, make sure that it's okay. But this, what's the word? Suppress the hunger with like drinking fluids, tea, green tea, stuff like that. They're always good things to do. But yeah, I can feel it. And what was the other thing about pre-race foods? Pre-race foods. I have porridge in the morning. I'm a big porridge man. I do that. So I've got my long run tomorrow. Toby and I are heading out 20 miles. I'll get up and 3 hours beforehand I'll have my porridge. And then off we go.
You definitely aren't the only person who's doing marathon training and is hungry all the time. I'm really going through this. I've been for the last couple of weeks now. So I am going to be doing my best to try and curtail my eating. I've had a bad week.
You hit that point in which you're, what you're doing in terms of effort, and your aerobic and cardio, all that sort of stuff, and your body's craving. It's saying usually, right, you're filling me up with all this stuff, right? A lot of it's up here. You're giving me all this stuff all the time, but now all of a sudden you're asking me to work double hard. I need more, and you don't, right? Because you've got fat reserves, you've got stores. Yeah, I know, right? But you've got it. You don't need to go out and smash the life out of 3,000 calorie meal just because you've gone and burnt it 3,000 calories off. That's the wrong mindset. I mean, I do that because that's the reason I run, is so I can, eat whatever I like. But it has to be balanced, because what you can do is you can come unstuck by, like Sabrina the other day, you get run down during marathon training or even half marathon training. Your body's taking a massive hit because you're asking it to do stuff that it wouldn't necessarily normally do. So your immune system starts fighting you and saying, no, you can do one. You've got to give it the right stuff to be able to fight everything off and to be able to operate properly. It's like we say, it's like an engine. You've got to give it the right fuel. It's no point putting dirty fuel, dirty petrol into the engine because it's not going to perform. You've got to hydrate it. Think about oil. So you've got to make sure you're getting all the stuff into it, but you don't need to overfill the engine. It will still perform, and it will perform better if you don't overload it. There's nothing worse than you going and smashing the life out of something in terms of like pizza, rubbish, whatever, and then going out and trying to run 20 miles. You'll feel sluggish. You need to be feeling optimal. So getting the right diet and not overeating is a real tough one. I appreciate you because I say I overeat for Britain. Just ask Toby, because I smashed a Japanese out last night. I destroyed it. I had 5 pots of stuff and I ate the lot. But that's because I like to live, right? It's my only vice. So I don't drink. I don't do anything like that. I like to have something to eat. But you've got to be careful because you've got to make sure you are fueling your body correctly, especially if you're training for your first marathon and putting a big loads through it and putting it under an enormous amount of stress.
Cool. Well, thanks for that. That saved me asking. That was a great question. Al, what
Next
we got?
one.
Anything else?
What we got,
Yeah,
Al? Do you want the email?
Yeah, we'll come in with the email. We've got a few more
Right,
questions.
so yeah, because I love it, and thanks ever so much, guys, for all your emails. Keep them coming in. We've got more. We're going to try and get one a week if we can, in terms of the emails. This week we're lucky to be able to go through this because our guest who is going to be tonight is next week, so we're going to be talking about ultra marathons and stuff like that. So we're lucky this week to be able to go through so many questions, which I love doing. But your emails, keep them coming, please. Keep sending them in. Doesn't have to necessarily be, that running related. We're happy just to hear from you. So, Charlotte Smith writing, and it's along the same lines, actually. What's your advice for fueling on the morning of a half marathon? Usually I get up at like 7 and do my long run, so don't need breakfast or much water, but landmarks didn't start until 10. So this was pre-landmark. So I didn't really help Charlotte by reading it this week. But the point is about fueling. And you guys who are going to be doing like big half and stuff like that, that will start a bit later. So how do you fuel like that? Now, everybody's different, I think. Some people can run 13.1 miles starved. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that if you're going to be doing a high effort. So if you are going to be going for a time or whatever, but I would recommend taking some fuel on if you're doing an event that's like 10 or 11 o'clock. Everybody's different in terms of what they can and can't stomach. Like Gemma at a running club on Wednesday, she was telling me she's had full English before she's gone out and done a race. Me personally, I'm a 3-hour guy. I've got to have 3 hours before, and then like eat something, and I'll have my porridge, and then let that go down. I won't eat anything before race, and then I'll have my gels during the race. So I think it's different for everybody. I know some people, Al, you're different. You have something different to me.
Well, I'm a vegan for a start.
Yeah, well, there is that. But yeah, do you have something? What is it? Bagel or something?
I tend to go for a peanut butter bagel. Yeah. It's looking for those slow release carbs, trying to avoid that sugar.
Yeah,
that sugar spike.
Exactly. I mean, there's a big thing about coffee, right? I've got a video coming up about coffee. Because some of the claims about, drinking certain coffees before and after and the differences between all the brands and what does and doesn't, right? Because again, caffeine, some people, that can cause stomach issues if you have a large amount of coffee. I had a couple of months ago, I had a massive mug of coffee. I don't know why I made it. Totally unnormal because I'm pretty structured. Oh, the gut ache it gave me. I had to quit on the run because it gave me terrible trouble because I had too much. So again, you've got to watch your caffeine. But yeah, I think everyone's different. Just find something that works for you and don't try and deviate from it. Even though like the porridge I eat, it tastes like wallpaper paste. It's minging. It's like the cheap stuff. It's just gross. But I know that as Al says, it's slow release energy. It's easy on my stomach and it's going to do the job. So yeah.
You got to experiment, haven't you, really?
Yeah, experiment, try different things. People have toast, banana on toast, all that. But honestly, I've seen people like smash out full English and then go and run like a 1 hour 30 half marathon. They couldn't give everybody's different. Everybody's different. I don't know whether that
You've got to find out what suits.
Probably not.
Thanks for your email, Charlotte. Anyway, and please send them all in longrunflow@gmail.com.
Yeah, lovely. Right, Al, get back to those questions because we've had
had like
150 comments or something.
We've had a question in from one of our regulars, Karen Lumley.
Hello, Karen. Lovely to meet Karen actually on Sunday.
I missed that. Say it again.
I said it was lovely to meet Karen on Sunday.
Yeah, she was there, but she suffered from cramp apparently at mile 9, and it obviously knocked her back a bit in terms of her race. Any advice on things to do to avoid cramping?
Yeah, again, I mean, Karen, she's out on the tools, right? She's out on the tools. Stella is her nickname, right? So, Stella, all I can say to you is look at what you're having the night before, right? And look at what you're having. It's just the worst person to get it.
Day before.
But I would say, yeah, I mean, it can be maybe you're drunk too much during the race. That's another thing. Maybe you haven't drunk enough. If you're gulping it, down. But usually it's something that you've had in the morning that's caused you to have some form of bloating or something like that in your stomach, and probably, you know, bloating. I hear a lot of bloating comes from Stella, but I can't.
Other lager is available.
We've got to give a big shout out to Ray, the Happy Jogger. Thanks very much, Ray, for the super chat. He just wanted to know that he loves Skechers, Al. So stop digging the Skechers, and we're doing 20 miles in the Max Road 5 just for Alan tomorrow. So watch out for the video.
I've got my email waiting for them to get my size in. I'm there when I get my email to say they're in. I'm on it.
In white.
In white, if I can.
Yeah. I only drink coffee or Stella. We know, Karen. I think.
Yeah,
that's
don't
the
mix them
problem
up,
here.
Karen. That's probably best.
That's the problem.
Separate glasses.
Oh man,
that's key.
Right, Al, keep them coming.
Yeah, we've got another question. It goes back to, we need Petra back on because it's a question about running in fancy dress. They're running in a costume. Don't know who you are or where you're running or what you're doing. So tell us more about that. But what advice for those that are fancy dressed?
You know what? We need to get Gemma on from our Wednesday group because she does a lot of running in costumes. She'd be a good person. I've got absolutely no clue on that. I'm going to add no value.
Milton Keynes dressed as something out of Frozen.
Oh yeah, I did, didn't I? Yeah, I ran the Milton Keynes half marathon with Billy. We were dressed as Elsa and Anna. But here's a little secret. I'm going to let all you viewers into and all you listeners on podcast. Listen to this. Bill was a finely tuned athlete, right? And then he got in love, and then he started getting on the sauce, right? So the night before, or whatever it was, he went out on it, and we was doing the Milton Keynes half marathon, and we was dressed as Elsa and Anna. Now I might be wrong, Bill. He's probably not listening, so jump in at some point. But at one of the miles, Bill got into Toby trouble, and I mean proper Toby trouble. And we was under an underpass. Charlotte, who was dressed as one of the Invincibles, right, was like covered in one side. I covered in the other. And then he went up under the bridge. And the only thing that he had to sort of clean himself was the glove. Because he was wearing these gloves. And then
are you enjoying your tea? Send us a question. Tell us, ladies and gentlemen, what are you eating for tea?
And he came and he didn't have his gloves. I went, Bill, where's your gloves? He went, he just shook his head. And he carried on. Oh,
he's listening. It's confirmed it's mile 6.
Oh, it was the best. It was so funny because he was proper hanging, and again banging trouble. And again, it just shows you people. Oh, unless you've got a
costume.
Oh dear.
So there you go. Our question is back on. He's running in a tractor. It weighs 6 kilograms, and to make things worse, he has to hold on to it so he can't swing his arms. I think the advice is don't bother.
I mean, well done, bruv. I'm guessing you're doing it for charity. Put the charity up. Give the charity a shout out, please, and make sure we show the charity.
And send us your practice pictures and videos. You know, we love stick them on the Facebook group. We love them.
Email them into us, but also put on your Just Giving because we can then add it up. We'll put it up during the live stream so people can sponsor you as well. But well done for doing a tractor costume. That's
cool.
Hardcore.
That is proper hardcore. That isn't it?
Yeah, that's hardcore. Doing London anyway. I mean, we'll get Colin on if we can. I've got to speak to him, and hopefully we can get Colin on. Obviously, big pink dress Colin about doing London in a fancy dress. But we'll do that nearer the time. We'll try and get Colin on because it's just his insight. I mean, the bloke's a legend, but his insight into that kind of stuff is second to none. I would say. I still can't get over Billy. I totally forgot about that, Al. And there's a great picture of me and him dressed up as Elsa and Anna now. We've got to do. Is that on this year? The Milton Keynes winter half. Does anyone know?
I think it is. Yeah, I think we've been banned as Fordies, but
Bill has because.
Oh, sorry, Bill. Yeah, Bill's been banned.
He's not here to defend himself.
Oh, he's not here. We must get Bill on because bless him. I've got to give him a shout out because he's been injured. He's had a bad back. And he went out and done 3 miles. I think it was yesterday. So good to see you back, bruv.
Yeah, good back, mate.
Can't wait to get back on the line with you.
Have we got one more?
Yeah, I think we've got one more and probably just about enough time. It's another anonymous listener viewer. suffering with a little bit of lower back pain when they're out on their long runs. So
Posture.
what advice is it? Yeah, is it gait? Is it posture? What else can they do?
Posture, yes. Obviously work on, I mean, look, firstly, none of us here are qualified osteos, physios, or anything,
No.
right?
I was going to say
Absolutely.
qualified to talk about anything, but there you go.
Yeah, we're qualified to talk
Yeah,
about
roughly, yeah.
nothing.
We're not qualified.
Apart, yeah. Well, you say that. We've all done. Me and Al been to school. We've done our coaching stuff. Anyway, but when it comes to that kind of stuff, no, we've got no. But what I would say in terms of lower back pain and things like that, look at your posture, look at your running form, but just get someone like a physio or an osteo to have a look at your lower back. That's the number one thing. But while you're out there running, think about how you're running. Think about your form. Are your shoulders back? Do you have neutral hips? That kind of thing, because that can impact it. But usually there's something more fundamental. So definitely check that out. There's something more fundamental than that. But have a look at your form while you're going on. But practice it on your shorter runs. You know, like I say to you guys, Ian, didn't I? I say, think about this for 30 seconds while you're out. Just pull, whether it be, pull your shoulders back. But the first thing that the most easiest way to do it is to look up, pull your chin up, because that'll straight away, it will straighten you up. Look at something on the horizon, and that will immediately pull your body up. And that will naturally pull your hips forward. So again, that will improve your running form. So they're the sort of things.
I saw a video as well with Mo Farah. He was talking about when he won the 10,000 at London, and the reaction he had when he went round that final corner, and he said, "All I was saying in my head was keep your form, keep your form, keep your
it's
form,
so important.
and just try and relax, and
relax. Relax.
That would be my uneducated offering.
We do lose form. I mean, you get tired, right? So it's like anything. You get super tired, and it all goes to pot. But if you can start off on the right foot, and like as I said to you guys, even for 30 seconds, just think to yourself, chin up or shoulders back. I always use the phrase tits and smile. But it's that, that sort of thing. It just brings it back. And what it does, it lifts your body up, because you end up crouching. All the weight is in your head. It all goes forward. You start really, your foot strike starts going out, and it's a lot more hard. It's a lot harder work to run. So think about your form, even if it's just for 30 seconds, remind yourself of it, and it will help. But I say, get some proper help, get some, some cardio work, strengthen your core, your glutes, all that kind of stuff is a big winner, I think, on all that.
Yeah, we wish you well with that.
Yeah, 100%. I've got to go. I've got to give a shout out. Hang on, where is it? Because he messaged me earlier. It was
Shout
Jack.
out time.
Yeah, Jack. Good to see you at London Landmarks. After some advice, and I said that I would try and get to this if we had time on the podcast today, live stream. So it's just another way. You can obviously, yeah. I get, and it's lovely. I get a lot of people asking me stuff on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, but try and send them in via the email address, and we'll put them on the show. But I'm after another pair of trainers to swap in and out of my current pair to keep my marathon training fresh and different. Any suggestions? So he's looking for another pair. I mean, my favorite running shoes at the moment, and everybody should know that by now, is the Saucony Endorphin Speed. So maybe grab a pair of those if you haven't got those already. Chuck them in. Great for fast runs. Great for sort of long run efforts. You can rock them up in a race. If you've got a few races planned before your marathon, you can wear them there. They're just a great feeling shoe. They can be unstable for some, but that would be my recommendation. Grab a pair of Saucony Endorphin Speeds. Oh, we just had another. Do you guys prefer podcast or music during a run? Well, I would listen personally. I don't know about you four. But I would personally listen to previous episodes of the Long Run podcast.
Yeah, because there's a few now.
Yeah,
there's 6 others.
I would definitely binge listen, if that is even a thing, to the podcast 100%, because there's amazing tidbits in there. There's a lot,
and often it's a lot better than this.
There's a lot better than this. There's a lot of Mickey taking out of Toby, which is important. There's a lot of Mickey taking out of Alan, which is important. So I would definitely recommend the Long Run podcast. But on a serious note, I listen to music if I'm on my own. If Toby's running with me, he tries to listen to music, but I shout over it.
Okay,
I mean,
just a quick word then about what's going on this weekend. Then you're doing your 20 miler tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, blimey, are we 60 minutes already?
Yeah,
God, don't these go fast? We
mate.
need, yeah, blimey. Sorry, yeah, okay, yeah. So, God, yeah, me and Toby, we're hitting 20 miles in the morning, which he's going to be so happy about. Me for 3.5 hours. Woohoo! We're going to try and get our marathon training. Phil T aftershocks not paid.
Yeah, love
yeah,
aftershocks.
we're gonna be getting our marathon training back on. Watch my video, Phil. I did a video on Aeropex. It's on the channel. But yeah, no, we're doing a 20-mile run tomorrow. We're going to be shoving some goal pace in there. We're going to find out where we're at in terms of our marathon training. While we're out there, we're going to be filming the 20-mile long run review of the Max Road 5 from Skechers. That's the shoe that I'm going to be picking tomorrow to do that run because I need to get a video out about that. So I'm just looking at another pair of shoes. But yeah, so what about you? Yeah, I know Al's got his big milestone tomorrow, which is great.
Yeah, I'm in London, so I'm gonna make my course debut at Bexley Park Run tomorrow. So I'm gonna have a look down there, see what that's like. And then I'm going to football in the afternoon for the first time in 16 months, which is brilliant. Really looking forward to that.
Wow.
And then 15 miles on Sunday.
15
Rare
miles.
weekend off.
Yeah, good for you.
Looking
What
forward
about you, Al? So you're doing your park run tomorrow? Is that all you're doing?
Blackjack in one hand, vegan chocolate brown in the other. So what can go wrong?
Sounds terrible.
Then probably a 10-mile. I've kind of missed a couple of weeks due to ill health, so I've got to get back on track with a few slow build up to those 16, 10 and 8-mile weekends that I've got to look forward to on my Hanson plan in a few weeks' time.
That's great. So there's plenty going on. We wish you all the best with your weekend activities when you're park running, whether you're long running or both. Thanks ever so much, gents. As always, a great chat. Thanks ever so much for everybody's questions. It's really good. Lovely to get some interaction tonight.
Manic, isn't it?
Really enjoyed it.
Manic.
It's absolutely flown. Remember, we're here every Friday at 7:00 on YouTube and Facebook. But you can also catch us on a podcast on Apple and Google and Spotify and wherever you get your podcast. So we'll be there. Just put long run in, we'll be there waiting for you. Stick us on your headphones, get out on your long run and enjoy all our stuff. 6 other episodes also available. Thank you very much. We will see you next week. You run them credits.
Thanks, everyone. Take care. Thanks for everything.
Have a great weekend.